welcome to our masterclass today. So we're going to be sharing about how we can help make it easier for you to grow your business and avoid common mistakes when scaling and growing. So thank you so much for coming along. It's an absolute honour that you've chosen to be here, either live or on the replay. I really appreciate it. So whilst we are getting into what we're going to do today, what I want you to do is I want you to say with intention, what are you here for, right? So you've chosen to come here and to give me your time. I would like you to just take 30 seconds to just say, what is it that you're here for? Just have a think. You don't have to share about it. You don't have to share it in the chat. Just have a think, because if we operate with intention and purpose, we're much more likely to get out of something what we actually want, okay? So in the mantra of Umi, of making things easier for you to go further, today I'm going to be sharing 3 common mistakes to avoid when growing your business, how to sidestep those pitfalls, and 3 growth principles that I share with all of my one-to-one clients, and when I coach businesses, what I share with them. Okay, this masterclass is run in partnership with the Ethical Coaching Company and Umi, and in affiliation with the Go Further group program. So we have 45 minutes, and I have a lot of information that I want to share with you. So let's get started. So a little bit of housekeeping. We do have a live Q&A, so please use it. I want this to be as interactive as possible. You also have a discussion forum where you can chat with other delegates. And this session is being recorded, so it will be available after the event on the SatNav and sent out via email. So it's always really important for me during the sessions that everyone feels seen and heard. I want everyone to speak themselves into the room. Now, we don't have a huge amount of people attending today live, so please utilize that time, ask questions, get out of it what you need. So if you don't mind coming into the chat and just saying hello, just saying hi, or if you'd like to share what your intention is for today and why you're here, please feel free to do so. Okay, so let's get into it. This is 100% for you. If you are constantly feeling like you're going around in circles, you're sat with that messy mind, a million tabs open, you're lacking direction a little bit. You're not sure on what you need to do next in your business. You might have tried lots of different things. You might just not have that clarity that you're really looking for. You're ready to grow your business. Okay, you're fed up of sitting in maybe that frustration, that overwhelm. You're ready to move forward with intention. If this resonates, you are definitely in the right place. So just remember, the Q&A is going to be open the whole time. Please use it. Please drop in, even if you're just saying hi. So what you'll learn today, I'm going to share with you the 3 most common mistakes I see business owners making. And like I say, the 3 principles I use to help my clients grow. How you can start to use this today. I want you to all take away actions. I want you all to be making notes as we go. And I'm going to also be sharing how I can help you further. If what we say today resonates, you feel like you could learn more about getting further support from myself and Umi or the Ethical Coaching Company, we're going to share with you how you can do that. But regardless if that's for you or not, you will get loads out of today to help you move forward with confidence and clarity if you're in a stage of growth in your business. So all I ask for in return is you are willing to try a different way. You stay open and curious and coachable. You come with an open mind. Even if things feel uncomfortable or challenged, or you feel a little bit of resistance, just go with it, right? Just allow yourself, commit. You've committed to this time. You are here for a reason. Let's spend this time together being present, okay? So be fully present and fully open and willing to try things differently. That's all I ask of today's session. Okay, so before I get into sharing, who am I and why does it matter? Why am I here sharing this? So I'm Kirsty and I'm the founder of the Ethical Coaching Company. I'm a business coach and have a business coaching practice. I've coached around 150 different business owners, founders, leaders, managers within organizations. And I have tutored around 60 leaders to become coaches as well. So I am a tutor for the Institute of Leadership for Management and deliver coaching accreditations and qualifications too. I started the Ethical Coaching Company purely because I am passionate about removing the smoke and mirrors around the business coaching industry. I feel really strongly about the power of coaching and the power of mentoring can have on a business. So I want to make impactful coaching accessible for business owners like yourselves. Okay, I understand the coaching world can be a little bit murky, but I don't want you to experience that. I want you to experience the powerful, impactful coaching experience that I know many people do. Okay, so this is who I am, and this is how I got to where I am. I was born and bred into a family business. So business is in my DNA. And I then went on to spend nearly 2 decades in the corporate world, leading and coaching teams and really finding out about how people tick and what gets them going, you know, how to tune in and get the best out of people, before I then headed off and created my own coaching practice and never looked back. So that's me. Why is that important? Because I want you to know that my experience, I get to see behind the curtains of a lot of businesses, right? At different stages of growth, different stages of starting a business or growing a team. I get to see it all, and I get to see the challenges that they have, and I get to see what they do to transform and move through those. I get to see what happens when people choose to work on their business, and I get to see the after effects of that. So I want to share that, because building a business where people can thrive and grow confidently isn't just about one thing, right? It's about a balance of lots of different things. And we tend to think, oh, we just need more money, we just need more clients. When this happens, I'll get there. But it's about a balance of everything. And that balance includes fulfillment from the leaders. It also includes freedom, joy. You know, it will include money and clients and revenue, but it all comes together to create a balance. So I want to share with you what I've seen and what I see on repeat with clients that I work with, to help make it easier for you to grow your business and help you think differently about the choices and decisions that you make. So let's start with the 3 mistakes that I see people making, right? I understand how draining it is when you're constantly trying stuff and not getting anywhere, right? And I also understand what it feels like once you've found that flow. So let's hopefully today find some clarity for you to help you create that lovely magic feeling and give you some confidence to move forward with specific actions in your business. So the first thing, number 1, you're waiting to be more established before you start working on your strategy. I put waiting to be more established, but that could be for you waiting to have more money, more time, not be as busy. Like, it might be something else in there for you, right? But the fundamental thing is what I see here is people don't create strategies, especially long-term strategies, because there's this real negative connotation to the word strategy for a start. So let's kind of just debunk that. A lot of people think strategies for the big corporates, they're for bigger organizations. You're not there yet. It's almost seen as a dirty word. There's a negative connotation to it. But like, I just want to be really clear when I'm talking about a strategy, all it is a plan, right? It is a plan. Just really simply, it's a plan to how you're going to create them sales. It's a plan to how you're going to reach your clients or to find more clients, right? It's a plan. So what I find is when people tend to have started up their business, they've built their business up, they've kind of gone along with it. It's a bit messy. We kind of have an idea, but there's no real structure or strategy that is down on paper, right? And what that creates is it creates a feeling of overwhelm. You're bouncing from one thing to the other. You're not moving with intention. You're living potentially in that feast and famine roller coaster because you're not sure what's coming next. You're living hand to mouth in that business sense, right? So operating without that plan, without that structure, can keep you stuck in the weeds of the business, and it can lead to you feeling directionless. We're flying by the seat of your pants a little bit. And whilst that might have worked at some stages of your business, if you're serious about growing your business, which you're here, so I'm assuming you are, you need to become intentional about that strategy piece and that planning, and not be afraid. There's so much fear behind that as well. Like, what if I don't achieve the goals? What if I don't get there? So what? You'll get further if you plan and strategize than if you don't plan at all, right? So I see so often people getting stuck here. And I understand, I get it, right? Because like I said before, when you're building your business from the ground up, sometimes you're just grateful that you're keeping on going, right? And you have that belief that I don't have time to stop working in the business to work on the business and create that. Maybe we're not established enough. That's for the corporates, right? That's for the big organizations. I don't need that right now. But there will come a time that if you don't create it, you will stagnate and stay where you are. And you'll know that because you will feel uncomfortable. You'll feel a little bit overwhelmed. It'll feel a bit messy. You'll start to get frustrated about all the things you're trying. When actually, if we get really clear on that strategy and the desire for that next level of what you want, things will start to look a little bit different. You'll start to behave a bit different. Your actions will then match what you're trying to achieve, right? The next level will look different. And there's multiple different layers to the strategy, right? There's not just one big strategy, this is it. You might have a strategy and a plan for social media, you might have it for sales, you might have it for different things. And that will look very different depending on your business, your size of your business, if you have a team, if you don't. So your strategy and plan is very, very unique to you. So don't worry and don't fear that it isn't like other people's, but we must do it, because if we don't, there's a huge cost to that, to your business. And if we don't intentionally plan the business we want, we get the default business, right? You'll just float along. You'll take in the clients that come your way. You will just achieve whatever kind of comes through flow. There's no real intention and drive behind it. But when we kind of get really serious about actually creating a strategy and doing it and reverse engineering that to the actions you create today, you get to carve out that plan for you, what works for you, rather than it being done to you. You can drive that with intention. You can start to create the future that you want. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But you can stop worrying so much. You can start to remove that stress about the feast and famine. You can start to actually intentionally create that future business of you want. And you can intentionally grow your revenue. You can intentionally find new clients. But just sitting and waiting in the weeds, you're at risk of getting that default business. Okay? So I would invite you to reflect, where can you create a strategy? Are you creating a strategy or a plan, however you want to term it, right? Are you documenting it? Are you putting yourself actionable steps in there? Because if you're not, you're really missing out. So take a step back and look at, what do you really want and how can you create a strategy for that? Mistake number 2. Stick with me on this one. So you're too busy creating the business you have today, not the business you want tomorrow. So what do I mean by that, right? You might be thinking, oh, I've only got the business I've got today. What you're talking about? A mentor once shared with me something that really landed, and it really resonates with me about how I build my business. And it is, a goal is a place to come from, right? If you don't build the business you want today, it'll never come. But what do I mean by that, right? When we visualize ourselves in your business in the future, right? We put our rose-tinted glasses on and we fantasize about this bigger, brighter, better future. Things will be going amazing then. I'll have a VA, I'll have an office, I'll have a big team. Like, what does that look like? And we think that one day we'll wake up and have that business. The thing is, we need to build that business today. That starts today, right? And that might be where you work, your clients you serve, who you're surrounded with, the office you work from, how you dress, how you think, how you make decisions, how your business operates. It might be about the processes, it might be more structure, right? And it's easy to think that one day that'll happen. Well, we have to make that happen. And that starts today, right? And we get stuck in that mindset of like, one day when I'm big enough, when I've got people working for me, when I've got more money, we're getting stuck again in that mindset of one day when, right? If we want that business, we need to think of a way of bringing that closer to us, right? We need to reframe what we're thinking. So if you're thinking one day One day when I'm big enough and I have a team, I'll implement structure and create processes so it can run really smoothly. What about if we reframe that? What if I implement structure and process today so it's ready for when I grow? It's easier to bring people in. I can share how my business operates much easier now because it's smaller than when I get to that growth space. How about we reframe what we're trying to tell ourselves, right? Now, what I hear a lot in here, like this mistake I see operates in, I call stealth mode, right? Because I see it so clearly sometimes. Because when we build in the business, we have more of the business we have today, that's all we're going to get because we operate into restricted boundaries. And we hear, I can't afford to, I don't have the time, right? It feels uncomfortable. We're not ready for that yet. We're not there yet. We need the safety. And I totally get that. It's about figuring a way out of you moving forward, feeling safe, right? Because if we too focused on the now, the day-to-day, the weeds, that's what we're creating more of, right? There won't be that growth that you desire. And considering, like I said, you're here, you're interested in growing your business, do yourself a favor and start to build that business that you want today. So I invite you to ask yourself, when you visualize that bigger, brighter future, what are the small things that you can start to do today? How can you bring that business, that future, closer to your reality, right? And this might be around in the future, you might have a VA working with you, a PA sorting your diary out. Yeah, I appreciate hiring someone full time. That's a big expense. You might not be there yet. But you could hire someone for a couple of hours a week. You could start to create and document those structures now. You could start to automate things so they feel a bit easier. Because if we start to do that, we are ready for growth. We are ready for scaling, right? Because we've got to think, when we are growing, if we think a lot, all we need is more sales. We just need more customers, then I'll be brilliant. Bring more money in. Well, actually, can the structure of the business deal with that? If I landed 20 new clients on you tomorrow, do you have the processes? Do you have the support network? Do you have the function to serve them and give them an amazing experience without it damaging the service and what you want to achieve? How can you start to build the business you want today? How can you slowly start to create that structure? How can you start to do that? Bring that vision a little bit closer. Because remember, if we're building the business that we have today and we want to grow away from this business, but we're building it and focusing on just the now, we're just creating more of that. It's about lifting your head up out of the weeds and looking at that long term and thinking, how can I start to change what I'm doing today and orientate it to that? So when you do get them additional clients you're looking for, you can serve them. You can serve them powerfully. You can serve them give them the excellent experience that you give everyone now. Okay? So I'd invite you to think, are you building the business that you have today? More of that. Or are you building the business you want in the future today? So mistake number 3, the fear of being visible, right? And I can probably feel some of you kind of getting heart palpitations and going, oh, like, because I get it. I see this all the time, right? But you are a business, and unless you plan on making money from being the best kept secret, you need to get visible somehow, right? And I want to unpack what that means, and I want to kind of debunk that for you a little bit. You need clients. You need your clients to know how amazing you are. You need your clients to know where they can find you. They need to know how they can work with you, right? So if you want to grow, you need to become a little bit more visible in front of your clients. Now, there are so many layers to being visible, right? When I talk about visibility, people automatically assume I'm talking about screaming and shouting on social media, making videos of you pointing at daft stuff. It does not need to be that, right? With everything that I talk about in business, it's about doing it intentionally and doing it in a way that's aligned with who you are and what kind of business you want to create, okay? So let's unpack it, because I see so many people stuck here, right? We have the most amazing clients who are amazing at their business. They have a small group of amazing clients that have all come word of mouth. They don't post on social media, they don't network, they're not talking about what they're doing, and that's really holding them back, right? And I understand being visible requires stepping out and being vulnerable. And there's a lot of judgment that's packed up into there, right? There's judgment from friends and family, other business owners. You might just hate talking about yourself. Like, there's so much packed into that visibility piece, and I get it, right? And that is what keeps us safe, that thought of, oh, I don't want to. And that's also what keeps us stuck. So it's the safety of staying where we are, which is stopping us from moving forward. Okay? So what does this mean? It means that we're not shouting about yourself, right? Because when we're not intentionally creating opportunities, so I see it as being visible is planting lots of little seeds, right? We're planting and watering the seeds to help us grow a business, to help more people know what we do. And then we become the captain of our ship, right? We can direct our ship where we want. Because if we're not taking control and directing it, we're too busy in the weeds a bit. Okay, so like I said before, being visible means different things to different people. So I want you to think today, what's the layers of your visibility strategy, right? What is your plan? And there are so many ways to get in front of your client. So first of all, asking yourself, where do your clients hang out? Who are they? How do they consume knowledge and information? And that could be social media. It could be different avenues on social media. It could be traditional newspapers, PR, magazines. It could be podcasts. It could be industry-specific events. It could be blogging. It could be networking. That's local, national, industry-specific kind of things. It could be events. It could be talks. And that's not necessarily you going to talk. It's you attending, you getting in the space, in the room with your clients and talking about what you do. It might be that you start a social media page for your business in whatever social media avenue your client hangs out in, right? And that's a thing that we need to really consider. Where are we making assumptions because it's easier for us and keeping us safe around our visibility? Okay, so for example, if you feel really comfortable attending an online networking group because there's lots of your peers in there and you know them well and you feel safe, you can show up. What's the return of investment of your time? Because if your client isn't hanging out there, how are you growing your business? How are you becoming more visible in front of your client? So just be really mindful about where we're making assumptions on that visibility piece for ourselves, because to grow, more people need to know about us. More people need to understand the amazing things that you do and what your business is about, how they can work with you, right? So really, really ask yourself one or two things that you can do to get more visible in front of your ideal client. If you want to grow, where do they hang out? How do they consume data? How can you create conversations with them? How can you tell them about yourself, right? Start slowly, one step at a time, right? But if you are really serious about growing your business, you need to get strategic and intentional about how you get in front of those clients. Decide the direction that you want to take your business. Okay, so that's what will help you plan for that growth. This will help you remove that feast and famine cycle that we've talked about, because we are attracting work in all the time. When we plant in those seeds, every time we show up on social media, every time we go to a networking event, every time we post a blog, every time we record a podcast, and that might not be it for you, right? But every time we do something like that, we are planting a seed. So reflect on how you can get in front of your clients and have that conversation and increase the visibility in a way that works with you and your clients, right? Start small. What can you do? Or if you're already confident in being visible, how can you grow that? What else could you do? Could you talk at an event rather than attending it? Could you host something rather than just attending it? Okay. Can you get on a stage and talk? Can you be more visible on another social media platform? Like, what new avenues can you do to increase that growth for that visibility piece? So the next things that I want to talk, as we go through this, please just drop any questions that you've got into the Q&A, and know that we're moving through this quite fast, but there's quite a lot of information that I really, really want to share with you before the session. So please just drop any questions that you've got in that Q&A form, and Rory will read them out to me. Okay, so now I want to share with you the 3 key principles that I use, right? So what I use with my one-to-one clients, and what I use basically is the platform of everything that I do in my business, I base on these 3 key principles. And I want you to think about this for yourself. Okay, so my principles are purpose, mindset, and strategy, right? And I believe to grow a business with ease, you need a balance of these 3 things. And this is creating a business that lasts the long haul, that allows you to build solid foundations, and building something that brings you joy and fulfillment, as well as the business that can grow and thrive, right? Regardless of how I work with people, these 3 things create the structure of what we do. Now, let me just unpack that a little bit for you and what that means. So principle 1 is our purpose, okay? So the purpose principle is understanding, and it's doing a lot of deep work of like, what is it that you really want? What's the clarity? So this is looking at your vision, understanding the value proposition that you bring, understanding what you really want to achieve and why you want to achieve it, like really anchoring in to what the purpose is, right? What's the purpose of your business? What are you trying to achieve? What legacy do you want to leave? What's really important to you? What matters to you? And why, right? Understanding that gives us focus and clarity. When we don't know where we're going, we have no focus. It's easy to get stuck and move forward because we don't know what we're working towards. And I always talk about a beacon of light as an example. Like if we're driving down a motorway and there's a beacon of light at the top of a mountain ahead, we know generally the direction we need to be driving. If that isn't there, you could be going off side roads, round roundabouts, off slip roads, and driving down the wrong way for 6 months, a year, until it feels really awkward and not good. Would you stop to recognize, actually, this isn't for me, let's turn around and go again, right? And that's where we can get that overwhelm, the frustration. So actually stopping and going, like, why am I building this business? This purpose piece tends to get lost as the business grows. When people start out, they understand this a little bit more because something's driving you to start that business, right? You're tapping into something that gives you energy. But as you grow, that could get lost a little bit. Your clients might have changed, the kind of work you do might have changed, the messaging of your organization might not be that clear anymore. Just take a step back, and I take everybody back to this, and I take everybody back to that authentic piece, alignment with the vision, and starting again. And even if this is something that you've done recently, as your business grows, this potentially might change, right? Because gaining that clarity and that purpose gives you confidence in your decision making day to day. You know, every decision you're making will take you either towards that beacon of light or away from it. And then it's an intentional choice whether you do it or not, right? You get to then make those confident decisions with confidence. So this will help people understand. It's a starting point for you from on the back of our discussion today. What's your purpose? What's your purpose principle, right? If you lack in clarity and lack in direction, this is where you need to start. If you're feeling stuck and going around in circles, like you've got a big messy spaghetti plate in front of you of your business, that's where you need to be. A lot of people shy away from this because it is hard. You've got to stop, you've got to slow down. And if you don't work on it, you can then go to the scattergun effect, hoping something will stick. You'll just do everything, not measured, not intentional, but hopefully something will stick. That's not going to help you grow and move forward. Take a step back. What's your purpose? What's your vision? What you're here for? Okay, really tune into that. The second principle is the mindset. So mindset plays a huge part in building a business, and it comes into resilience, understanding the fears, understanding why you feel uncomfortable about certain things. And this can sometimes feel a little bit deep, right? We are the creators of our business. No one is coming along to save you, right? It can feel uncomfortable. We do sabotage ourselves, right? Whether your ego might jump in and say, I don't do that. Oh, no, that's not me. We do. We stop ourselves because and that plays out of imposter syndrome, saboteurs, limiting beliefs, right? We all have them. Let's just be really open about that. Now, we get to choose whether we do get to choose whether we allow this to stop us or not. And I say choose because becoming aware of them and working on them, in my opinion, is the foundations of building a business and growing. Because when you grow in a business, you're doing things that you've maybe not done before. You're trying new avenues. You're putting yourself out there. You're being vulnerable, and that can be scary. And we've got a choice when we do new things. We can step back into safety, which that night voice in our head, we're not there yet. We're not qualified. All this stuff, like, who do you think you are doing that? We're not ready for that yet. All of this stuff is what's trying to keep us safe, right? So we can step back, we can listen to that voice, and we can step back into safety and stay where we are. Or we can choose to step forward into growth and work on what those limiting beliefs are saying. We can work on that unconscious bias. We can shine a spotlight on those saboteurs, right? Becoming aware of them helps you move through it. So once we become aware of it, we can do something about it. It's like we can't read the label from inside the jar. I think that saying is just so obvious when you say it, but it's like we can't, right? And sometimes we need help from an independent perspective to reflect back, to mirror back where we potentially sabotaging ourselves, where we're holding ourselves back. So this is a lot of self-reflection, staying curious, and self-awareness, right? Ask yourself, why am I not doing that? What's the challenge here for me? Because another thing that you'll hear yourself saying, I need to do X, Y, and Z before I do that. I need to go and like a learning trap. I always talk about the learning trap. I need to go and study that course. I need to learn more about that. I need to do that before I move forward. Well, what's the real fear here, right? Because everything we want is on the other side of fear. Imagine if you were to go into that business growth fearless. If you could just move forward with confidence and intention without the fear, how much further would you get, right? And when we do become compassionate with ourselves and ask ourselves what's going on, we have so much more appreciation for what we're trying to create and a sense of freedom, right? We get to commit to our business. We get to work on the hard stuff. And the mindset piece is huge because it is the bit that I see missing so many times. People come to me wanting strategy. People come to me wanting a plan. People come to me wanting to know the next steps, right? I can give you that all day long. But unless you are ready, unless you've built up your resilience, unless you've worked on your mindset, you're going to just keep coming back because that inner talk is going to continue to hold you back unless you work on it, unless you take the time and reflect and stay curious, right? There's a lot of fear around it as well. People tend to label themselves like, I'm just a perfectionist, just the procrastination queen. I hear these terms all the time. And there's something under there that's saying that, right? There's something that's stopping you moving forward. There's something keeping you attached to that. And if that is you, if you can hear yourself, got to say that to myself all the time, what's really going on here? If you seeked excellence rather than perfection and move forward, if you weren't procrastinating all the time and move forward, what would that mean, right? Because there's a lot of fear that hangs under there, whether it's fear of success, fear of failure, fear of judgment. All this is playing out, right? So I invite you to be really curious about where you potentially stopping yourself growing your business. This piece feeds a lot into that fear of being visible. There's a lot of mindset work I do with clients around that visibility piece. So the third and final principle is the strategy. So this is the one that people think they just need, but it is the one that brings it all together. So the purpose is you know what you want, the mindset, you know what stopped you, the strategy is how you can make this your reality. It's a final ingredient to the recipe. It's building strong foundations, it's having processes, it's having the business that you truly want to build, right? Because with no action, there is no business, right? And having a clear strategy allows you to make those confidence and take those actions that will actually move the needle and make a difference in your business. So if you scale without strategy, so if you grow your business and it feels a little bit messy, imagine a big plate of spaghetti on your knee and it all feels a little bit overwhelming and a bit messy. If you're thinking, oh, I just need to scale, I need to grow, I need to get more clients, without any of these structures that we've talked about, that is like pouring a whole big more pan of spaghetti on the spaghetti that's already there. You're going to get more of what you've got. Okay. So what I really want you to do is create your business intentionally. Stop settling for that default and create that strategy, create the actions, but do it with confidence aligned to your purpose. Work on those mindset challenges so you don't keep coming back here. And then put the strategy in place to help you move forward, right? You have the power to create that for yourself. So, a little recap. The 3 mistakes: you don't work on your strategy, too busy creating the business you've got today, creating more of that, not the business you want, and the fear of being visible. So what I want you to really do is think about that intention at the beginning of the session, and think about what can you take away from those mistakes? How can you learn from them? How can you not fall into that trap? Are you creating a plan? Are you creating a strategy in line with your purpose and your vision? Are you looking at that vision and going, how can I create that into my reality? What can I take from there? How can I start small to walk in that direction towards that beacon of light? Where can I get visible? Where can I get more known? Where can my clients find out about me? And then think about the purpose, the mindset, and the strategy. How can you implement that? How can you take that away from today? So you have the power to create the business that you want. That's what I want you to know. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but if you operate with intention and choose to work on your business rather than be stuck in the weeds of the in, it's available, right? So please do, and we've come to the end of the session that I'm going to share with you. So if you've got any insights, if you've got any questions, I please encourage you to put them into the Q&A. And I'm conscious we've got into that last 5 minutes. So if you've enjoyed today's session and you would like, Rory, are you going to ask a question?
We have got a couple of questions here. So earlier on in the presentation, you mentioned a quote about a goal being a thing to come from. Mm-hmm. So Paul just asked if you'd be able to repeat that quote.
Yeah. So a goal is a place to come from, not to go to. So you're working from a place of the future and going towards it versus starting here with what you've got.
Perfect, thank you. We've also got a question from Mark, which is, so he's planned and implemented so many visibility plans for clients that work perfectly, but just can't make a plan that works for our own business. Where am I going wrong?
I would invite you to reflect on the mindset of what's holding you back. What a couple of things come to my mind when you say that is, if you can do it because you do it for your clients, so you can demonstrate that. And I see so much people doing things for their clients, but they're not doing it for themselves. And is that something, a fear of holding yourself back, being visible? Is there a mindset challenge there going on? Or is it that there's actually a question around the strategy of, are you getting in front of the right people, doing the right thing? Are you measuring the impact of what you're trying to do?
Perfect. Yeah, I hope that helps, Mark. And that's all the questions we have so far.
Brilliant. Thank you. So as I said, we've come to the end of the session that I want to share today. If you've got any questions, please put them in. If you've got any questions after the session, please filter them to Umi and they will come to me and I will answer them, no problem. And I always share this quote at the end of masterclasses because I think it's so important and it really resonates with me. And that is, there is a dance only you can do that exists only in you, here and now, always changing, always true. Are you willing to listen with fascination? If you are, it will deliver you unto the self you have always dreamed you could be. This is a promise. This literally feeds into everything that I talk about, how I can help you and your clients and my clients build that business that gives them what they want. So I'm going to literally spend the next 5 minutes talking a little bit more about how we could support you further if you're interested. If you're not and you're done and you've got things from today, please feel free. You don't have to hang around. If you do, thank you so much. So like I said earlier, this is in alignment with the Go Further group program that the Ethical Coaching Company partners with UMI to deliver. So this is a small, intimate group of business owners that are working on growing their business. And it's a really small, intimate place where there's lots of trust and people can get support to grow in a way that feels right for them, right? And this is a journey, I always say, of transformation. I want to transform how you think about your business. I want to transform the decisions you make. This isn't information pushing. This is a journey of transformation for you to work on your business. And like I said before, it's really important to myself, the Ethical Coaching Company, and UMI to make things accessible as possible for as many businesses as possible. So if you're ready to commit to creating the business you want, you're looking for some support from a safe, trusted environment, then you might want to listen up to what we've got and what we've got to share today. So this is designed to create more fulfillment, actions, and results in your business. It's 6 months program, and we will go through 12 key principles, and we'll go through it together. We have fortnightly sessions. We have a digital program for you to work through at your own pace. We have a private WhatsApp support group from me, and we have accountability support. So what's covered? It isn't a cookie cutter program. Whatever you bring, we will help support you with at that moment in time. We have 12 modules that we focus on to help you get clear with, and that is built on the principles of purpose, mindset, and strategy. So those are the 12 core principles. So we start on the 5th of October with our live sessions and our small group. When I say small, I mean small. We would never have any more than kind of 8 to 10 people in there. And the investment, which everyone always asks what it is it's $995 plus VAT, which is an unbelievable price for this kind of support function. Ethical Coaching Company and UMI have worked together to make that available and accessible and affordable. There's also a payment plan with no additional charge. If you want to come in to a payment plan, it's $245 plus VAT, plus 5 payments of $150. We always offer if people who want to take action early, they can get access to a one-to-one session with myself. If you come in, I think it's 48 hours, but you'll get an email on that. But yeah, if you're interested in coming and getting some kind of support from myself, the Ethical Coaching Company, in a small group situation, please check it out. It's a really great program. This is the second time we've ran it, and just some feedback from the people that the previous attendees. The transformation in their business is incredible. The 2 of them are going to come back into the program, so that speaks volumes for me. But yeah, has anyone got any questions? I know I've kind of super sped through that, but has anyone got any questions or anything else that they would like to share on the back of that information?
We haven't got any questions coming through at the moment, but we have a lovely comment from Paul saying the mindset principle is something that I haven't heard so clearly before. Brilliant. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Edward's saying a great session. Thank you. So thank you all very much for coming along today. We'll just wait a couple more moments to see if any more questions come through about the Go Further program or the content covered today. But firstly, I'm just going to share some next steps for you before we head off. So thank you all for coming and let us know how it went. We'll be sending through an event survey and a follow-up email. And also, as Kirsty's mentioned just now, you will be able to receive a free 1-hour one-to-one coaching session with Kirsty. And that's when you sign up for the Go Further group program within 48 hours of the event. So please do keep an eye out for that in the follow-up email. And one final thing is to say thank you very much to Kirsty as well for coming along to present today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've all found that extremely insightful. And yeah, I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much, Rory.
Okay, we don't have any more questions coming in, so we'll just call it there today. So thank you very much, Kirsty, and hope you all have a wonderful afternoon today. Thank you.